future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Hi, welcome to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360karma.com. You know, every week we have incredible ladies on, and next week we are going to have Kathy Painter and Dr. Christine Horner, who both are in the area of ageless beauty and health. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? So you won't want to miss it. If you don't want to miss any shows, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube or look for us in your iPodcast on iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, but catch us on one of those every week. And so today, I am so happy that we have on Catherine Curry Williams. She is the founder of Shane's Inspiration, a nonprofit that we're going to be talking about that is just amazing. And also, she is the founder of Wine, Women, and Chocolate. Can't wait to talk about that. So first up, we have a wonderful author and host of The Aware Show. Her name is Lisa Garr. Please give her a warm welcome. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You have such an incredible career of having your own show, the Aware Show.
Yes.
We're going to talk about how that got started.
Yes.
And you also have Lisa's Inspirations on Gaia TV.
Yes.
How exciting is that?
And Hay House Radio.
Oh my gosh.
It's all part of exactly what your open was about, was conscious media.
Yes.
Yes. And that's what you're up to.
And we need so much more of that. And in fact, I wish you would infiltrate television more. I think this new Gaia TV is really cool. I know people can get it on their cable channels. And I think people are really hungry for that, don't you?
Oh, yes. It is more about, I believe, and I've seen over the last 18 years of doing conscious media radio.
Yeah, you were one of the first.
It came about, and we'll talk about this if you want now, is from an accident that I had, and it was a brain injury from a mountain biking.
We won't talk about the one you had coming here.
Oh my goodness. This is all about resilience today, folks.
It is about resilience.
I cut my eye with a piece of paper. On the way here, I got a paper cut in my eye.
I know, you poor
it's
thing.
like running down
and
my
she's
face.
like hanging in there and being a trooper.
God, I'm made of nails. I don't know why, but I am. Somehow.
But I mean, this is nothing compared to the story you're about to tell us about the bicycle accident. You know, I was so fortunate to see you speak at the Women with a Purpose conference, which I love, that Catherine Curry Williams, our next guest, puts on with Kathy Painter, who's our guest next week.
Yes.
And it was amazing hearing your story. And I said, I got to have that woman on my show.
I really appreciate that, because the more I get a chance to tell my story, it's about overcoming adversity, but it's also about following your dreams at the same time.
Yes.
So as I have my eye watering down my face, I had that same exact experience happen when I was on a mountain bike, fell off the bike. It was during a mountain bike race, because I used to be a competitive mountain bike racer. Cracked my helmet in 13 places, caused myself a severe amount of brain damage.
Oh my gosh.
And I have had to overcome that over the years.
Wow.
But I started the radio show because of people that were helping me overcome it. And I thought, my God, people need to know about this.
Right.
They need to know what is possible, that you can regrow a brain,
Right.
that you can regrow an eye, that you can... I was using neurofeedback, brain entrainment technologies, all sorts of different things that really helped me.
Right.
So
you wanted to share that with the world for
Yeah.
other people that maybe had gone through a similar thing or you know, some adversity. But the one thing that you did say was it's about overcoming my adversities and then the what came out of that.
Yeah.
And I always think it's so interesting. I think everyone in life has some sort of obstacles they've had to overcome, whether it's health or accident or losses, whatever it is.
Yes.
And it always leads to what we're meant to be doing, doesn't it? Oddly enough.
You know what? And here's my tip of the day. It's about being authentic.
It is absolutely
about being your
about
authentic
that.
self.
Oh, honey, you're speaking my language. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here with a cut eye, but I have no problem talking about it. I don't need to push through the pain. I just need to be present with pain.
Yeah.
And that is kind of how life is.
Yes.
There is pain. There are hills. There are valleys. There's good times. There's bad times. The more we resist it, And the more we push against it, the harder it's going to be.
Right.
The more you just sit with it and say, thank you, body. You're doing the best that you can. We're all doing the best that we can. And override these things with a little bit more, not grace, but ease.
Yeah. I want to talk about your background because I know a lot of your resiliency, like many of us, is somehow tied to the people we grew up with, the circumstances. I know your dad was a Vietnam vet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in your early childhood, you traveled around a lot, but eventually he brought you here to the LA area.
Yeah. We wound up in Orange County, and he is, he's still with us, thank God, and he's dealing with a lot of the effects of it. Agent Orange, and that has resulted in a leukemia diagnosis and chemo, and he is an amazing man. And all of our veterans who went through that experience, talk about pushing through pain.
Right.
I mean, they do every day.
Yes.
Because their pain comes home with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you also moved here, and your aunt, your dad's sister, is a well-known actress who I absolutely love, Terry Garr.
Yes.
And I know you've mentioned that a lot of people in your family are later in years struggling with health issues, and that your messaging is, how do we better prepare for our later age so that we're not suffering?
Wow.
Right?
That's a big one.
That's a huge one.
I mean, the Aware Show is mind, body, spirit, because we're all connected. All of that is connected. So,
and you can't focus on just one area, right? Some people think, oh, I'm really focusing on my spirituality, or oh, I work out every day and I eat right, and they forget their spirit, their emotional. Like, they're all important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all play a part in this puzzle, right?
And health is changing so much. Our awareness about health and the research that is available right now is changing so much. That's why I love doing a show on health, because the latest, we have to be body 2.0, body 3.0 now. We have to know more about our food than ever, more about our environment than ever, more about cleansing, more about diet, more about everything. We can't just say eat right and be healthy.
Right.
It's so much more. I love it though, because you can get into air, and you can get into water, and you can get into body, and you can get into exercise, and everything is kind of a 2.0 these days.
Right.
But that, I believe, is the only way we are going to survive.
Yes.
To be honest.
Right. Yeah.
In later life.
When we were young, we would just go and eat anything, right? We'd all go to
Weber's
McDonald's
bread
or
and-
Pizza Hut or whatever.
Yeah.
And now you have to practically have a degree in food. You got to go in and go, no, I know this, I shouldn't be eating this and that and that and this. But it's good that we're educating
It's
ourselves.
awareness.
I think the food is not as healthy, too, as when we were younger. Is that like a true concept or not?
It is. There have been studies that the apple that you eat today was 18% of the nutrition that an apple was back in the 1950s even.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Very, very different. And there's a lot of studies out there like that now because of the soil and depletion of minerals, et cetera, et cetera. So the bottom line is we need to learn what we need to supplement with, and what the importance of a plant-based diet are, and how that can, I mean, if you've looked at the therapies that really have healed the most cancers, like the Gerson therapy and all of these great therapies over the years, they're mostly in the dense nutritional plant-based world.
So you're vegetarian?
No, I'm not. I'm a paleo. So, but the whole point.
I like paleo too.
The whole point of it is to get. It's like 80% of the food that you eat should be green vegetables.
Right.
Drink it, eat it, chew it, smoothie it, whatever you want to do with it. Yeah.
And we're in that junk food culture, and it just seems to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're getting away from
phasing
that.
out. I think so too.
Yeah. Like I know in California, it's nice to know that we can go to a lot of restaurants that are organic, they're antibiotic free, they're gluten free, they're offering so many more options now. I know we're ahead of the curve with the rest of the country.
I even heard that McDonald's has a kale and egg white bowl for breakfast.
Oh my gosh.
I've not been there, but I don't know what it tastes like.
Who'd have thunk? But they probably put sugar on it, but I'm just saying.
I know, it's probably got 500 million grams of sodium, but hey, they're going in the right direction.
Right. No, I've always said that here in California, we're among the first, and even we have slim pickings, but we have more than most. Like we've traveled to some other areas, my partner Deborah and I, and we've had like places that there's no options. There's no antibiotic free. There's no grass fed. There's no, healthy options.
Yeah, in the same Midwest. Exactly.
But I do think it's spreading here to be the majority of the restaurants instead of the minority. And whatever happens in California tends to set the trend for the rest of the country. So that's good news.
We are trendsetters a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because we're outside all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your female family background because
yeah.
you had real trailblazer
Yes.
women in your background.
Yes.
So tell me about your mom. I know your grandmother was a rockette.
Yes, original Radio
Yeah.
City Music Hall
Which
rockette.
is super cool.
Legs Lind.
Yeah.
I have a family of strong women. I
Yeah.
do. My mother was is still at 78 working
my
as an
gosh.
interior designer.
Oh, that's
She started her own
fabulous.
business after being a special ed teacher. Started her own business when we were in, I don't know, probably grade school.
Like back when women didn't really start businesses.
No.
So she's really a
Yes,
trailblazer.
I came from two very hard-working parents.
Yeah.
People that instilled a work ethic in me that helps me not know any different. I mean, I
Yeah.
believe working hard is important.
Yeah.
I think that's kind
What
of
about play
gotten-
hard, though? I believe in work hard, play
Oh,
hard.
that's one of my favorite songs. Work hard, play hard. That's
Yes,
my theme.
yes,
That is
girl.
my total theme. Work hard, play
I
hard.
love it. Yep.
Dust the mountain biking.
Yep,
All of
yep.
that. But I think. I mean, I was raised with a lot of people that work, a lot of great, strong women
Yes.
that showed that you can be a pioneer.
Yeah.
Now, I'm the first to tell you that sometimes as a pioneer, it's
Yeah.
a little bit rough because
Yes.
you are paving the way.
It is.
Oprah did it for me. I mean, for you, for
Yes.
all of us who get to raise consciousness through media.
Right.
She went through all that network issues and
Yeah.
all of those naysayers and all of those people that said that doesn't sell.
Right.
And then started her own network and took a little bit of a dip and now she's thriving. I mean, it's just so great.
She
Watch
definitely blazed a lot of trails for all
She
of us.
did.
I so look up to her, and I know she definitely changed my life, but she's changed the lives of so many people.
Yes, and
What
that's
a
what we all
wonderful-
do. We
Yeah.
all have the power to do that.
Right.
And by bringing on conscious leaders, by
Yeah.
bringing on new scientists and anybody who has inspirational
Mm-hmm.
information, but also how to content. That's why I do what I do. That's
Right.
why you do what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's learning from each other and then sharing that information.
Yeah.
That pays it forward and creates that ripple effect.
Yeah.
You know, you might tell me something that somebody else didn't hear.
Yes.
And so it's so important for me to pass that forward. And I believe that we should all be doing that, sharing that information.
It's
Yeah.
why you do what you do.
Right.
There's so many people that I've spoken with that have heard, and this is the way that I set the show, is there's got to be someone out there who needs what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And I just bring the information out in a very neutral way so that people can have what they need and take what they need. And that's how I deliver the information on the shows. I've gotten so many incredible emails. I mean, one woman heard a shaman who I had on the show, and something he said unlocked her sexual trauma.
Wow.
I mean, it just was the key she needed.
Yes.
And she wrote me an email, and she went to work with him and has a life of freedom now.
You
I
know,
mean, think about that.
That is amazing. And that's why I think there should be many more platforms that reach more people. Like
Yes.
my audience may be different than your audience. That's why we need so many different shows. And I would love to see that on more television platforms too, because I turn on TV and it's so hard to find anything of any significance. I like CBS Sunday Morning that has some human interest stories, and it's just far and in between.
Oh, yeah.
And yet, there are so many incredible stories. Look at the guests we have on our shows.
Yes.
These people
Yes.
are doing incredible work in the world, and a lot of people don't even know about it. And it's life-changing.
I don't
and
know. I
it's
have an opinion about
world-changing.
that. No, I have an opinion about that because
Yeah.
the darker that
I knew
the
you would.
news,
Yeah.
the darker that we're seeing the news get, and the buffoonery that is happening within
Yes.
our politics right
Yeah,
now
that's a good word.
is causing us to look more towards what is right.
Yes.
And to empower ourselves and take action onto what is right. There are more people listening to our shows than ever have before because they're
Right.
just sick. And
Right.
it is so blatantly obvious, thank goodness,
Yes.
of the ridiculousness of our current political news environment that it's time to listen to something that is empowering.
Something substantive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why conscious media is on the rise.
I think you're right.
Yep.
And the other good thing coming out of what's going on politically is, of course, the rise up of empowering women.
Yes.
I mean, it's causing a revolution. As much as I would have loved to have had a female president, I think we were a little complacent. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if This is the one good thing coming out of all this. It's making people rise up and say, oh, no more. No, we're coming together.
Yes.
We are stronger together. And a lot of men are behind this feminist revolution, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Look at the march. It was half men. So
supportive, and that's the way it should be. I mean, ultimately, it's about oneness.
Yeah.
When I had that accident, I had a glimpse into what that oneness is.
Right.
That it is a complete, seamless, boundaryless experience of all that is.
Right. Now you came back to life from that accident, right?
Obviously.
It was one of those. I mean, no. But I mean, it was that serious. Like, you know, when people say
brutal.
I had a moment that I felt like I left the world and came back.
I did.
Like and everyone who has that experience seems to come back just
with a mission,
with a wisdom and a mission. That they see the world differently.
Yeah. I created a whole series around people who had near-death experiences because I was so curious.
Oh, wow.
Because the people that I've interviewed
What's that
have
called?
had...
Is that on your show?
It's called the Afterlife Summit.
Oh.
I actually, you can look it up. It's called the Afterlife Summit. And it's people who have had, that took on their near-death experience to create incredible missions in the world. Mm-hmm. And I found the theme amongst all of these people who've had whatever accident, however they crossed over and came back. Mm-hmm. They have such a beautiful mission that they are helping people in some incredible way. One guy is helping people at their deathbed cross over as a soul. Another one is, I mean, she's doing incredible work in hospice. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful work that these people are doing that only takes something like that to get you to.
Right. I had this woman on last week, or a couple weeks ago. Her name's Kimberly Moore Foundation. She created something called Adopt-A-Letter after a drunk driver hit her, and she had that near-death experience.
Wow.
And then she came out of that, and there's a whole story about how she ended up finding out that the kids' letters to Santa got shredded. And she got a hold of these letters through the post office and started answering them. And she literally goes to their doors and delivers, like if they say, oh, our family's cold, we need blankets. Our family's hungry, we need food. This is the kind of things these kids are asking for. She shows up as Santa's helper. She's delivered 40,000 kids over 10 years. Yeah, and now she's doing Adopt a Country, and it's a whole thing. She blows me away. But that is an
I want to interview her.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is an after life experience journey that comes to my mind when you talk about that. I've heard several, every now and then you hear these incredible stories. But you're right, they always come back with some incredible mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really
like
think
yourself.
about it, how can we really possibly be all there is just right here in this dimension? Can't we have a little bit more? Can't we live beyond what is just us?
Yeah.
If it's a God that you believe in or a religion or whatever it is, we are part of a bigger picture.
Yes.
No doubt.
People often, I think, are struggling with what is my purpose? They didn't have a near-death experience, and so they're struggling with it. I have this Live, Love, Thrive conference where I try to give people the opportunity to hear people talk about how they discovered theirs, and help them to discover theirs. It's, I think, something that people struggle with. What would be your advice to people that are struggling with, I have a good life, but I want to make a difference and leave a legacy. How do I tap into what it is I'm meant to be doing? What's my purpose here?
Start volunteering.
Yeah.
Just start volunteering.
Yeah.
The food pantry, the Guide Dogs of America, whatever you need to do.
Right.
Start volunteering.
Right.
And you will start to see where your purpose is.
I love that. And
Just
then you
start.
And the interesting thing is, whatever they pick is probably what they're passionate about. Like if it's animals,
if it's Boys and Girls Club,
homeless, whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever they decide to volunteer for is probably something to do with their gift and their passion. Yeah. And so, and like you said, then all of a sudden they're meeting like-minded people. Yeah. And just enjoying this wonderful journey of giving back. I think that's what it's really tied to, don't you?
Everyone
How
has
do we
said
give
it.
back?
I mean, Oprah said the greatest way to heal yourself is to help others. Yeah. Gandhi, the Dalai Lama. I mean, these are incredible leaders, and it is the greatest way to heal yourself is truly to
Gandhi,
help others.
Dalai Lama, never heard of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Get off of yourself, get onto them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know you knew Wayne Dyer,
Oh, yeah.
who was one of my favorite people.
Yes.
And one of his the favorite things you and I shared the other day on the phone was that I love when he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
And I think people get that, but when you really get that,
Yes.
it's so powerful.
It is so powerful. Everything that we think and believe we create. Our reality exists in the palm of our hands.
Right.
And if we really can truly shift our perspective about something, we can completely change the outcome.
Yeah,
of
I
it.
can't tell you how many times I'll have a friend say, I don't think blah, blah, blah is going to happen. And I'll be like, it probably won't, because it's kind of like, if that's what you think,
Yeah,
that's
what you
what's going to
believe.
happen.
That is what you believe.
But if you think, oh, this could happen, well, then it can.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's the simplest thing, but we forget it so easily.
It is simple, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
we
it
think
is,
that we're at the effect of everything else.
Yes.
And that we can actually affect something.
Right.
Puts us back into the driver's seat, puts
Yeah.
us in the empowerment position.
do you think it scares people to think that they actually can create their life?
Yep.
Because that's kind of like a big thing, because then if you're not creating what you
It's
want it to
nothing
be,
that
then
we've
you're
ever been
like,
taught.
Right.
I mean, even when you're a child, you're taught that there's somebody that towers over you, and you see that in school. That there's an administrator over you. You're constantly being small. We're
Right.
constantly being taught.
doing what your parents tell you to do, your
Yes.
teachers, your boss. You know.
we are. It's a social meme.
That's
to
why
play
we like
small.
being entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's risky, but
It is.
yeah,
But
you're not at the effect of anything other than you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
That's
own-
what I like.
It's, trust me, it's also
Yeah.
a growth curve.
Yeah.
To be an entrepreneur, because you learn your shadows. They show up right here if something is off.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it-
Of course, I don't have any, but
no, none of us do.
yeah. So your advice to people would be to volunteer,
Volunteer and start to help
watch the Aware
others.
Show.
Listen to the Aware Show. Watch the Aware Show. We're everywhere.
And Lisa's Inspirations on Gaia. Do you love being on Gaia? I think
do.
it's such a cool idea.
Talk
for
about
a network.
trailblazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
It was one of the first online television, conscious streaming networks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Very
now
cool.
people can tap into it on Netflix, right?
Yes, it's on Comcast, Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's Gaia, Gaia TV.
Yeah.
.com.
I think a lot of people still aren't aware of it, but it is like the first,
growing.
thing you can watch on your television that's like, higher level thinking based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feeds your soul.
Yeah.
And your mind. There's a lot like that. I'm also on Hay House Radio, which is audio. KPFK here in Los Angeles. KFI, I'm on Coast to Coast. I guest host Coast to Coast a little bit
Right? Is that all?
as well.
I'm just kidding.
There's a couple more.
There's probably a
But
couple more.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, over 15 years or 18 years, 18 years, you were definitely one of the trailblazers in this. And of course, you've built it out over 18 years.
Yes.
That's there's nothing like time on your side to build out everything that you're doing. So what's in the future? Is there some goal that you haven't reached yet that you're
Great question.
yeah.
I am always growing.
Yeah.
I'm always
Oh,
growing.
that's the fun
and
of it,
to be
right?
honest with you, being on 5 platforms, I feel a little bit stagnant right now. So I'm, I'm looking for the next level.
I love that.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
It
I
is.
think that there's more and more and more people to reach.
You probably feel the same way I do, is that I have the most incredible guests on every week. I want more people to hear and see
Yes.
their stories.
Yes.
And so, yes, it is always about growing that platform. So be sure to share this link with your friends and your family and tell people about our shows, because it is what helps spread the word and help spread these beautiful stories, because we need more of that out in the world today.
Yes.
So they say the Western woman is going to help change the world, save the planet, make the world a better place. You agree?
High five, sister.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
More women at the decision-making table.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we come from a place of love. Truly.
Yes. And then
Truly.
don't you think with more women at the decision-making table, automatically the world will just start to become a better place environmentally, politically, peace-wise. And so how are we going to get women in more positions of influence, which is a whole nother show, and I know we're
Yes.
wrapping up. But I think it starts with listening to shows and getting the information to tap into one's purpose, so that we bring more women to be living into their highest self.
Yes. It's
And
about
that is
women operate from a place of
journey.
cooperation, not competition.
Oh,
Compassion, not
100%.
Coherence,
100%.
not competition.
Right.
That's why it works. That's the new model.
Yes.
And it's not just women, it's men too.
Right.
When you operate from that model of coherence and compassion and cooperation, it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
It has to be.
Right. I just made this video for our new website that we're launching, 360 Karma. It's called Authentic Networking, and it's about exactly what you're saying. It's like, go out into the world, go to the conferences, go to the events, go to the networking with in mind, how can I help other people? Not what can I get from it, but how can I help other people? The rest will all fall into place.
Yes.
But
yes.
how can I help you, and how can we help someone else, and how can we help our listeners? How can we help each other as women or men that are supportive of women? That's how we'll move that agenda along, I believe.
Yep, you're part of the picture.
Yeah, here we go.
You're part of it. Thank you.
We'll have to do this a year from now and see where we're at. I think there'll be a lot of progress.
You're on. You got it.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
you're
you
on.
so much. All right.
And you haven't even thought about your eye, have you?
Nope.
Yep.
See?
There you go.
You get your attention off of yourself. It's amazing what happens. Thank you.
All right. Look forward to having you back.
All right.
And we will be right back with Catherine Curry-Williams.
Hey.
Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to the Live, Love, Thrive show, where we bring you powerful and positive programming about women and those who support women's empowerment. It seems by sharing their stories and showing us their talent and potential, they remind us of our own. We ask you to join us weekly by taking a minute to subscribe to our 360 Karma YouTube channel so you get to see every episode of these uplifting and inspiring stories. We all need more of this, yes? And did you know we have the Live, Love, Thrive book on our 360 Karma website and on Amazon? If you enjoy reading books of incredible women who are doing amazing work in the world, you will want to pick up a copy. Also, when you join 360karma.com, you will enjoy our growing video content of expert advice and support, and learn about our workshops and our second annual Women's Conference in West Hollywood, November 3rd and 4th of this year. If you would like to align with a like-minded, purpose-driven community, you will feel at home at 360karma.com. We encourage and support you to live the life you love.
RTB Financial Group empowers women to raise the bar and take control of their financial future. For more information, visit rtbfinancialgroup.com or call Amanda Barr at 424-284-4216. The Live, Love, Thrive program is brought to you in part by Honda of downtown Los Angeles, supporting the equality and empowerment of women.
And we are back. We are back with Catherine Curry-Williams. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
I'm great.
Almost got stepped on by the applause for you.
Oh, well, that happens all the time.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
How are you?
I'm great.
I'm so happy to have you on my show. We just got back from celebrating with Wine, Women, and Chocolate in Solvang. What a fun retreat you put on.
Well,
oh, my God.
Thank you. Wine, Women, and Chocolate are metaphors as much as I like the literal of all of those.
Yes.
They're metaphors for wine it's your time to relax, sip something, sip coffee. It doesn't mean you have to drink.
Right.
Sip tea, enjoy. Women is the good, the bad, the hormonal, the sexy, the not so sexy mornings. And chocolate is permission to indulge yourself, because women most of the time, my glasses, most of the time, hey, I have to stop. I couldn't find these for a long time. They were on my...
Gee, that's never happened to me.
I know. You're looking everywhere. They're on your head. Okay. That was the shallow moment. We go shallow, deep, right?
Yeah.
And so the part of the chocolate is permission. Like I was saying, women, we don't give ourselves enough permission.
Right.
We
put ourselves last, or
taking care of others, and that's a good thing. Maternal
so you're saying
is
stop
wonderful.
and have the chocolate.
Yeah,
or whatever.
The roses,
spa,
the smell.
Exactly.
I
love
we
that.
have a big list. I can say. Yes, the spa. Yes, the chocolate.
I think we're
yes.
both good at pampering ourselves. Something tells me.
Yeah, well, because you know why? We're both. I think we give out to our friends in the community, and we love service. We love helping and sharing and giving. And when I can't do that, I feel I'm at my lowest. And if I don't take care of myself, then I can't do that. And the spiral is then I'm feeling low. So I find that the more I am able to take care of myself,
Yes.
it's exponentially taking and doing things for others.
Right. Yeah, because doing things for others is very rewarding, but you do have to replenish yourself. In
Yes.
fact, that's what your retreat did for me. It made me feel rejuvenated because it does take a lot of energy. And I mean this in the most positive way, to do a show or the conference or whatever, workshops. And I love doing that. I love helping get information to people that helps change their lives. At the same time, it's so nice to go away for a weekend, have wine, women, and chocolate to sit down and relax and put your feet in the grass and look at the beautiful nature and replenish your energy. So when you come back, you're feeling energized and you know, things are moving and shaking and popping and, you know.
Right. Looking for, I find a lot of women that come to my retreats that are women, and I might have told you that are women that do conferences and have shows and are taking a lot on in their life.
Yes.
And this feels like a you know, even though this is something to add to their life, but it's like a secret getaway. I'm going to do this. I'm going to secretly have fun. But because I have the element in it, because it's the vision board and wine tasting retreat, I know how to get you ladies to come out and say, well, this doesn't seem so hard. And we want to do things that improve our life. So that section gets you. And then, well, a little wine with them. I think that became my ticket to having so many women that work so hard during the week to say, oh, we're gonna go and give ourselves something back. And
you're right. You make it something of significance, so they're like, okay, well, I'm not just, you know, being frivolous.
Shallow.
I'm actually doing something significant to help grow myself, but at the same time having a good time and replenishing. It's the perfect combination. And we turned off our phones for a couple of days, which I highly recommend to anyone listening. Boy, there's nothing more rejuvenating than cutting off your phone for a couple of days.
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, obviously people can have their phones, but they don't. It's surprising when someone said, oh, I forgot my phone. I think Deborah said, I haven't seen that thing for like 2 days.
Right.
That's great. I mean, because it's available if you need to, but unplugging, one of the gifts that I get from that weekend is that I really do, I have to unplug because I have to be there for you. And I need to focus myself. I can't be worrying about a text. So hard.
You know,
to
I
have
think
to
people
worry
might
about
wonder,
that.
where do you come from?
And where do I come from?
I mean, you are amazing. You put on this conference. You put on the getaway, and you have the most incredible nonprofit. And I want to talk about how and why you created that. But first, what was your journey to get here? Like, I know you came to LA with like $20 in your pocket and a bicycle, and you were doing some acting and did a lot of commercials, and it was so cute because you told me that you were actually a quite accomplished ice skater, right? Roller skater. Sorry, roller skater. And that almost all of the commercials and things that you did involved roller skating, which is kind of cool.
I found my niche. Apparently, acting wasn't really the first best thing that I did. Roller skating was, because I did many commercials that
you looked good and you roller skated. Okay,
you know. And in times, you know, I could hold a beer and roller skate. There were good things that I could do in the roller. I held milk. Did milk on roller skate, or, you know, milk does a body good with my roller skates. And,
cute.
And Miller with my roller skates, and those Budweiser with my roller skates, and some Clydesdale horses and the beach. You know, it was beautiful.
Gosh.
Great. Listen, I'm very grateful for that career. And the things that I do, I must right away up front confess that they are not me only that does this. This is always a collaboration. I collaborate with Kathy Painter for our conference, Wine, Women, and Chocolate.
And she'll be on next week.
And Kathy Painter is great, you know, is our naturopath doctor. Oh, call Kathy.
Right. She does the Ageless Beauty Report, so I'm excited to talk to her about that.
It's great. I let her do the research, and I just follow the beauty tips and the health benefits.
Maybe I need to do that.
Oh, you are looking great.
So, so you did the acting, and I think, did you tell me you did a soap?
Well, I was on the first HBO soap opera called
Yeah.
A New Day in Eden so many years ago.
Yeah.
And let's move right past that onto the next thing where I met my husband and we fell in love.
Your
and,
amazing husband, Scott.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and
I love the story you told me when you guys were kind of young and getting together. And I don't know if you were married yet or not, but you you said to him, "You're such a gifted writer. Rather than bartend, let me, kind of help you out here, and so you can write full time." And he kind of didn't want to do that, but oh my God, where his career went! Now he's the executive producer of NCIS, and so thank God, they always say there's always a good woman behind a successful man, and it takes a team, right, to make things happen.
Scott always says it's a woman who makes it necessary. I think that's his. And he was. I have an eye for talent, and I told him, "Don't worry, let me." I was in the position at the time to let him take off, and I could take care of some bills, and he reluctantly did it. And I said, "Honey, I'll take 10%. Like, this isn't a freebie." And so now I tell him, "See what a good deal maker I was." And now I give him 10% of whatever. I give him a budget. He lets me run a lot of things now.
I love that.
Our wedding vows are, though, he gets remote control and I get design control. And sort of
This is what makes it work, huh?
Yes.
The compromise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is great. And so that's, we moved from my acting career that was fleeting to something very different, Scott's writing career that took off very quickly because he's very talented. And
he
others.
also wrote for what other shows? Bones
and Without a Trace and Third Watch.
Yeah,
and
so many.
So many.
Yeah.
I can't even remember all, them.
But then, like anybody.
NCIS, the original with Mark Harmon that he's on, is a great team, and he does love working with all the cast and the crew. And this has been a wonderful job. You know what they say, happy wife, happy life. I say that. Now he says that. And this particular NCIS team and crew provide that for him. So I'm very grateful.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And the NCIS now is in so many cities, right?
Oh my God, it's the world's most watched television program in the world.
Wow.
That particular version of NCIS.
And you know what? That might not have been created had you not met him and helped him support his writing career. You don't know.
Well, there's a lot of people involved there. I don't think he would take the credit for that, but everything moves in the direction it should. So,
but it is a good message to people at home if you are in a partnership and someone has a gift, support them in that gift.
Absolutely.
I know my partner and I support each other. I support her writing and her career in real estate, and then she in turn is my co-producer for this show, and we definitely, I just think it's so important for couples to really support each other.
Absolutely. To me, that's the gift that keeps on
formula.
giving. Yeah, that's right. You source each other in what your greatest skills and what you find is your excellence. And Sir Ken Robinson wrote a book called Excellence. You have to find that book and see, because he talks about the difference between your skill and what makes you happy and how to balance your life. And that's very important,
isn't it?
And supporting your partner in their skill and what makes them happy as well.
Right.
Because not every day and every job is something that makes you happy. So you have to also look at beyond that.
Yes.
And that is...
Well, speaking of that, we also all have obstacles. So we help each other with the great goals in our life. All of us as individuals and couples have obstacles, and you guys certainly had a huge challenge, but you made such a positive out of it. And I want to share that with the audience, that the two of you did have a son, and his name was Shane.
Yes.
And you lost that son. He had a disability.
Yeah, he was born with something called some very rare at the time, that was 20 years ago, called spinal muscular atrophy. I had a full-term pregnancy and, had all the tests, and everything should have been perfectly fine, but he was born paralyzed. And so it took 10 days for them to even diagnose such a rare, at the time, disorder called spinal muscular atrophy and Werdnig-Hoffman, and that is fatal in infants. And yes, and then Shane passed away 13 days after he was born.
And I'm obviously so sorry. And I think people listening at home, many people have been through something similar. And that you telling your story is so brave and courageous because I think it really does help other people. And what you did with that was you created this nonprofit, so beautiful, in his honor, in his name, in his legacy, called Shane's Inspiration. And now it benefits and impacts children that have disabilities all over the world. You all put in playgrounds that are that handicapped children can use, right?
Yes.
So you tell me a little bit about it.
They're universal. They're called, first of all, again, it takes a village, and the staff, Marcy Moran, Tiffany Harris, who co-founded it, my husband Scott, the list goes on, Brad Thornton. No one is Marnie Norris, who now does the education program for Shane's Inspiration, which is an element that we've been doing almost 10 years now, I think, and it reaches 41,000 children around the world.
Wow.
So, and that's a new element aside from the playgrounds. We are opening up our 65th playground.
Oh my gosh.
We
that's
did.
so
We just did.
And if you didn't open these up, these handicapped children wouldn't have anywhere to play.
Well, and their siblings as well, and their parents. It opened our eyes those many years ago to a very glaring, problem. It was a critical unmet need, and that was able-bodied children and children with different abilities, disabilities, or sometimes they're more able than some of us, certainly in many unique ways. They couldn't play together. Tiffany and I went to playground and playground and playground where they were called accessible playgrounds, and you could get to it, but then you couldn't play. And if you were able to play, you had to leave your wheelchair. Then we discovered that those transfer decks were only for 10% of children with disabilities.
Oh my gosh.
It blew our minds. We were just in shock. So immediately we went to every friend we knew, and we raised, and the city donated 2 acres of land in the middle of Griffith Park.
Wow.
And we opened our first playground in 1999? Oh my goodness. We raised $1.5 million. We have a playground there that's been touted as a Disneyland for free. And what I was saying, what happened is we found that it wasn't the children with the different abilities, but their able-bodied peers to play with them, and their parents and their grandparents to be able to do a simple birthright of every child, simply play in the park.
Right.
And
this is so incredible.
They wouldn't take their kids who had a disability if they're able-bodied kids. So no one got to play because they didn't want to disappoint, or they didn't want to disappoint their child, even if the playground was accessible, because they had to stand in the corner. They could get close enough. And now universally accessible is the term that we use for the playgrounds. And there's parallel play, there's age-appropriate play, and it's simply, together we are able, and that is the name of our education program.
I love that. And they can go to shanesinspiration.org.
Yes.
And find how to either support it or where the playgrounds are.
Absolutely. And we're having a fun thing tonight at Hamburger Mary's. Tonight, go to Hamburger Mary's. We're having
in
a
West Hollywood
fundraiser, which is bingo night.
Oh, fun.
And it's drag queen bingo. So it's not your grandmother's bingo, I think is what they call it.
8 o'clock?
I think it's 7. It goes from 7 to 8:30.
Oh, that's
I don't know. I'm always there 6:30.
Oh, maybe we'll stop by.
There you go. And we have a great friend who is doing tonight. Oh, I forget. McLaughlin. I forget which McLaughlin. Sorry. But anyway, she's one of the ball callers. They call her. We always have a celebrity ball caller when we do it. It's a fun night.
You can't talk dirty on the show.
Oh, my God. That's right. What have I said?
But this is a perfect example. I know you said you were very depressed after this happened, as any human being would be, but you could have just let that really rule your life and not done anything with it, and then look at what a beautiful thing came out of it. It's such a great message to people that when you have an obstacle or something tragic or a loss, that you do something with that.
Well, I stayed in bed for almost a year, pretty much in bed or around the house. I was until the notion and I grieved, and even 20 years later, sometimes I'm still grieving in certain ways.
But now you have the beautiful daughter,
and my daughter Grace, who's 17, and so I'm I wrote a book called Yes, You Can Use Your Hormones as an Excuse, just to kind of let my steam out there of having how my life is with hormones and a teenager with hormones.
You wrote several books. There was one involved a Porsche.
Well, can I say
I
F
think
you and
so.
the Porsche you rode in on? But I put that one aside. That was my angry time.
Wait, let the audience get that. F you and the Porsche you rode in on.
Yes, this is true. That is not published though.
Yeah,
it's only
it's a great title,
75%. It is a great title, and it's 75% finished.
But the one they can access right now is the hormone book. And
yes,
what's
you
the
can
name of
use
it
your
again?
hormones as an excuse.
Yes, you can use your hormones.
Oh,
as
that's
an
a
excuse.
funny book.
I'm so happy to know that.
Yes, it's more of a rants and me ranting, and I do. We're very grateful to have our daughter Grace because life changed. But I was saying when I had finally got out of bed, I wanted to. What moved me and Tiffany and Scott and thousands of volunteers forward is I was simply taking one step at a time to do something good in my son's memory, Shane's inspiration, and one step at a time led us here. And so I urge anyone not to feel like if you want to do something good, just throw your hat over the wall and go, know that you're going to go in that direction, but don't worry about how you're going to do it. You will come one step at a time. If you try to look at the complete end result, especially when you're doing good in nonprofit and so on, it sometimes can seem overwhelming. So in this area,
I think the fun part is that people miss, because I know you talked about this at your retreat. It doesn't matter the how, and what do people mean by that? And I just think of my own self, like last year when I went to write a book or start the talk show or create a conference, I didn't know how. I just knew that I had enough life experiences that I thought I could make this happen. But the fun part really is learning. With each step you take, you're learning something new.
It's the
learning
process.
how to write your book, learning how to put on your conference, learning how to do your talk show. And anybody can learn any of those things. Whatever their dream is, to do a TED Talk, to write a book, to start a business, they don't have to know everything. And I think that's where people get held back.
They get hooked on.
They think I have to know everything before I do anything. And it's really just doing the first step. Want to start a business? Go to GoDaddy and buy the domain name.
That's exactly right. Absolutely.
And it'll start the ball rolling.
It does. You need to get the ball rolling. To be an expert in anything, I think it takes 10 years. So I'm an expert in several different fields that I've done.
Some we can't talk about.
Yes, there you go. Because I have worked but learning to be the expert and not like I didn't go thinking, oh, I'm going to be an expert in this.
Right.
But if I waited
happens.
10 years to become the expert before I put it into action, well, geez, I wouldn't have moved forward in any of these things.
Right.
And the moving forward in it and the process with the learning experience, I think, what did I learn today? Tell me something I don't know.
Right.
That's exciting.
Yes.
And if you look at it from that perspective, there's no real time to worry about the hows.
Right. I think that's great. What you just said is when you don't know how to do something, look at it as an exciting new venture instead of a fearful, I don't know how to do it.
Right.
And find someone who does know how to do it. I don't know about you, but that's what I do.
I
don't
love
know how
the
to
word.
I don't know how to build a website. I go find someone who does. I don't
Delegate.
know how to do Facebook advertising. I find someone who does. That's why we're all here. It's to each share our gifts with each other.
That's so true. Skill sets are, and don't feel bad that you don't have that skill set. You have one that's uniquely yours too. And don't be afraid to wave your flag and say, hey, this is what I do well. And I agree. Find someone who you can collaborate with. Because I like to collaborate.
That's what I'm trying to do with this 360karma.com. In fact, we're launching a new website in a week or two. And what it's about is bringing all these people together, experts and coaches, that you can come and use our resources to help then to release your gift. So you come to the site, you find somebody in our community of resources and trainings to help you figure out what your purpose is, or maybe you already know what it is, but how to execute it so that then you can share your gift with our community and the world at large.
I can't wait to get onto that website. I'm excited about that. What's the website?
Yeah, 360 Karma.
360karma.com.
Right, and that's what, to me, 360 Karma is. It's how do we give our gifts to other people to help them bring out their gifts and grow whatever they're meant to be doing, so that I'm giving, you're giving, we're giving, we're all using our gifts to help each other.
You are a history in the making, Catherine. I am so grateful that I have met you, that you invited me here today, that I can learn more about everything that you do, because this is historic, and I love 360 Karma, and that's what that makes, I thrive in that place. Talk about live, love, and thrive. Yeah. I feel the best I am when that
is happening. I can see that in you. We speak the same language, and all of this has brought such incredible women to me, like you. My guests are amazing and extraordinary women, and if it wasn't for the show, I wouldn't be meeting all these incredible ladies. So I'm so happy to be able to meet, network, and share the gifts of my guests. So I'm so happy to have you on the show today. Happy to be a part of your world and your retreats and your Women with a Purpose conference, which I absolutely loved. I highly recommend it to everybody. You do that in March? March.
Yes, so, the date I can't remember because
is that womenwithapurpose.com?
It's womenwithapurpose conference.com.
Okay, beautiful.
But they'll follow you when they follow who you are, because mine starts revealing itself on the speakers not until December.
Right, yeah.
So.
And our conference is in November.
That's
Let's Love
exciting.
Thrive. And you're going to be on our She Tank panel.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, which people don't even know what that is. The night before our Live, Love, Thrive conference, which is November 4th, November 3rd, we are, for the first year, doing She Tank, which is a female pitch fest for female entrepreneurs to pitch Women Investor Panel, which you're on. And then they'll be investing in these women entrepreneurs. Anything from tech to services to products to films, nonprofit. It runs the gamut, fashion. And so if people are listening, they can always go to 360karma.com and actually submit to be one of the people pitching at the Pitch Fest to you and the rest of the wonderful and amazing women that are on that panel.
Yeah, I when you told me that, I just thought, yes.
You're a yes girl. You're my kind of girl. You're a yes girl.
For most of the time, yes. I when I hear something that
speaks to
me,
yeah, I'm the same
I don't
way.
even have to think about the decision. The decision is so clear.
Yeah.
And that was one for She Tank. Come on,
what
She
a Tank.
great
Here we
thing.
go, girl. And we're going to make it into a web series, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about women helping women.
Yes. And, men, you guys, you're good out there as well. And
we want their help.
Yeah. And everybody has their skills.
I think they recognize, and that's why they're behind us, that we've gotten the short end of the stick, that we don't have equal pay or equal positioning at the CEO table and at the political table.
Absolutely.
And I think they want it. So
absolutely. My husband will be the first one to stand up and write. He writes amazing episodes that women speak in. He just knows that. And I feel like there's a lot of you great guys out there rooting for us women to thrive.
Yeah, to live, love, and thrive.
Yeah.
So thank you for being on.
Welcome.
I'm looking forward to the upcoming events that you're doing. And we just want to say, everybody at home, tune in next week. We're here every Wednesday at noon. Please live, love, and thrive. Hugs and happiness.